Your fingers glide over the surface of a crystal glass, feeling its coolness before the liquid fills it with an almost hypnotic sound. You watch as the bubbles slowly rise, like tiny fireflies trapped in an upward dance. The aroma unfolds in the air, evoking memories you didn't even know you had. At the first sip, the flavor bursts in your mouth, revealing layers that once would have gone unnoticed. Something as ordinary as drinking becomes, for a moment, a gateway to the extraordinary. That is how transformation happens. Not with fireworks or grand revelations, but in moments that once seemed insignificant. Living change is precisely that, seeing the ordinary with new eyes and discovering a glimmer of wonder within it. It is a subtle, almost secret art, accessible only to those who learn to silence the noise of their minds and listen to what has always been there. Because the noise is always present, it's that inner voice whispering doubts, insisting that something is still missing, keeping you trapped in the idea that the future is more important than this very moment. But that voice is not you. You are the presence that listens to it. And in that presence, in that space where thought quiets for a moment, something astonishing happens. You find yourself, not in the rush or the struggle, but in the simplicity of being here, feeling every detail as if for the first time. Step by step, choice after choice, you anchor yourself more deeply into the stillness of the heart. Not to escape life, but to dive into it with a different intensity, with courage, with grace, and with the wisdom that only those who have learned to see beyond the noise can understand. A powerful way to experience this transformation is by opening yourself to serving others. When we stop getting lost in the constant noise of our minds, something shifts. People cease to be blurry figures in the background of our story and become entire worlds waiting to be discovered. Suddenly, it's as if we see beyond words and appearances, sensing their pain, their fears, their hidden longings. Not because they tell us, but because we learn to look with true attention. Acts of kindness begin to emerge spontaneously, not as tasks or gestures seeking something in return, but as a natural response to this newfound connection. Helping is no longer a duty, but an extension of who we are. Like when you see someone caught in the rain without an umbrella, and without a second thought, you share yours. Or when you choose to stay a little longer, listening to a friend who says they're fine, but carries the weight of the world in their eyes. It is in giving that we receive, said St. Francis of Assisi, but it's not about receiving something tangible or immediate. What we receive is something subtler and deeper, the certainty that we are connected, that what we do for another, we ultimately do for ourselves. In this process, boundaries dissolve, competition loses its meaning, scarcity is no longer a threat, separation reveals itself as an illusion, and what remains is the simple truth that we are all on this journey together. This transformation also requires something that at first may seem terrifying, embracing the mystery of life. Our mind, always eager to control, seeks answers for everything, trying to foresee what's ahead and ensure everything goes as planned. But the heart loves the unknown. Many sages throughout history have urged us to surrender to mystery. As Rumi once wrote, "Do not resist the changes that come your way. Let life flow through you and trust, even when everything seems upside down." How do you know the new won't be better than what you once knew? When we accept the mystery, we stop clinging to old stories. We plan, we dream, but we do so lightly, trusting that even unexpected detours guide us towards something greater: growth, healing, more authentic connections. Yet embracing mystery does not mean living aimlessly or neglecting our responsibilities. It means releasing the rigidity with which we try to control everything. It's the difference between rowing against the current and learning to navigate with the river's flow. Life, with its unpredictable turns, doesn't always take us down the path we envisioned, but it does lead us where we need to go. Sometimes, what seems like an irreparable loss today reveals itself tomorrow as the beginning of something extraordinary. What hurts today may one day become the story that gave us strength. Making space for the unknown allows life to surprise us. It's realizing that not knowing what comes next is not a threat, but an invitation to trust. On this path, moments of doubt are inevitable. The mind, always persistent, may whisper, "This is too hard. You're dreaming too big. Go back to what's safe." But you know what? Those moments aren't failures, they're invitations. Every time you hear those voices and choose not to be swayed by them, you strengthen your connection with the inner peace that has always been there. As Zen Master Shunryu Suzuki said, "You are perfect just as you are, but you can always improve a little." This paradox is the essence of transformation. There is nothing in you that needs fixing. At your core, you are already whole. But as your awareness grows, you align more closely with who you truly are. And one day, without realizing it, you'll look back and understand something surprising. Change didn't happen all at once. There wasn't a single moment where everything clicked. It was a subtle process, almost imperceptible, taking shape moment by moment, step by step. What once felt like a constant struggle was, in reality, a series of small, daily choices that, when added up, transformed you. True freedom doesn't come when challenges disappear, but when you learn to face them with a new perspective. It's when you stop seeing doubt as an obstacle and start recognizing it as a sign of growth. Doubt doesn't arise to stop you. It comes to test how committed you are to your evolution. Every time you choose to move forward despite fear, every time you decide to trust yourself just a little more, it's as if the universe responds with a quiet whisper. Keep going, you're on the right path. But let's be clear, this freedom is not the absence of challenges. It's not a state of perfection where everything flows effortlessly, nor a refuge where pain ceases to exist. It is, rather, the ability to find peace and strength even in the midst of the storm. When the insistent voice of your mind no longer controls you, problems stop being enemies and become opportunities for growth. Fear is no longer a sign to turn back, but an invitation to be brave. Pain, instead of an unfair burden, transforms into a patient teacher, revealing the parts of you that still need love. And the great magic of transformation lies precisely there. In the moment you surrender control over that relentless voice, you align with the essence of life. You stop being a spectator lost in a web of thoughts and finally begin to live. With intensity, with authenticity, with the certainty that life is always unfolding exactly as it should, even when you don't fully understand it. Transformation is not a destination. It is not a trophy or a final point. It is a journey, a continuous process of remembering, forgetting, and remembering again who you truly are. It is realizing that you are not the chaos of your mind, but the stillness that has always been there, waiting to be rediscovered. And when this realization takes hold, something incredible happens. You stop searching for transformation because you understand that you already are it. There is nothing to attain because you are already everything. You are the silence beneath all the noise, the light that has always shone beneath the shadows, the presence that never fades. And the moment you stop trying to explain it all, transformation simply blossoms. And suddenly, without forcing anything, life begins to return to you what has always been yours: peace, beauty, and a love so deep it feels infinite. This process is neither linear nor predictable. Sometimes transformation happens in the quietest moments, in the small choices that seem insignificant but accumulate, layer by layer, until suddenly everything makes sense. Every moment of full awareness brings you closer to your true nature. It is in the moments of stillness, when the outside world fades and the mind quiets, that the essential emerges, the love, wisdom, and peace that have always been within you. And in the end, you realize that life does not need to be fixed or controlled. Instead of seeking quick solutions or immediate answers, you begin to embrace the natural flow of what is. You become a witness to your own evolution, seeing how every challenge, every obstacle is not something that diverts you, but what is actually guiding you toward your most authentic and complete self. Transformation, then, is not something you achieve. It is something you allow. It is trusting life to carry you without resistance, knowing that everything is already perfect as it is. If you've made it this far, congratulations, not for me, but for you. Reflecting on the voices in our heads and facing the silence we fear so much isn't for everyone. It's an act of courage, a deep dive where most people only dip their toes. You know, there was a time in my life when everything felt like a whirlwind. I remember sitting on a bench in a park, watching the leaves dance with the wind. My mind was so loud that I could barely notice the beauty around me. Until by chance my attention was drawn to a single leaf gently falling to the ground. For no reason, I felt a deep silence for just a moment. And in that instant I understood. I was not that constant noise. And you who made it here, maybe you're feeling something similar. Hold on to that feeling. It's valuable. And hey, why not click like? It's like a virtual hug that says, "This really resonated with me." And if you think your deep-thinking friend or your philosophical aunt needs to hear this, share it with them. Oh, and subscribe to the channel. I promise it's not just me talking to myself, or maybe it is. Either way, hit that button and join us on this journey of reflection.